So, Darrin, introduce yourself to everyone who might not know who Darrin Henson is.
I'll let you do that.
You involved in a lot. You're an actor. You're a dancer.
Right, and I didn't know that.
And I looked at some things, and you could be a motivational speaker too. You got to see how to be. You can do that motivational talk. One of your quotes about knowledge. I want you to speak on that because I see you talk about that. How you broke it down. I don't want to mess it up, but you got your hands tied in a lot. Right. And I remember you from. I mean, you done a lot of movies.
I like them as Duncan or Lennon Duncan.
See, my favorite is Stomp the Yard. I just can't get that one out of my head.
Right.
Well, hopefully it'll never leave your head. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I think are impressed upon a lot of people in a way that it speaks to them, their heart, their passions. It speaks to their family. And to me, those are the type of works that you want to be known for, whether the character was well loved in a loving way or if they didn't like the character, it's stuck in their minds. And so it helps to create a movie that becomes timeless.
Like, which favorite movie you ever performed in?
You know, that's a really difficult question to ask, because when you know, the thing about me as an actor, and it's funny, sis, because you're not the only one. Some people, I remember when Stomp the Yard came out, some people didn't know that I was the same guy that was on Soul Food.
And that's me. I didn't know. So excuse my ignorance because I did not know.
No, it's okay. To me,
I was like, oh my goodness.
That speaks volumes to the work, because I don't want to be seen as the same person in every movie. I want people to see the characters and not Darrin. There's a lot of, actors out there, actresses out there who they're the same person in every movie. I don't want to be that person. I want to be a different. I want to be able to drop into a character so deep that you don't see me, Darrin. You see the character, and so that is a testimony and a test within itself for me. So I'm thankful that you don't know that I'm the same person in another movie or another TV show.
Right, because I didn't realize you was the same one in Stomp the Yard. I knew you was the same one in Black Coffee and Family Business. But I was like, Stomp the Yard? No, he didn't play in Stomp the Yard.
That's the one that moved him in. And then he got on his hands. So I was like,
I see, but I love him as Orlando Duncan. Now, with that being said, when people see you out, is there one particular character that they always reference you as? Like, for example, like Tracy Ellis Ross. She's always going to be Joan Clayton.
I mean, I've been, not that many people are out and about amongst themselves anymore, right? And when we are out, we're out in masks. So nobody knows. The other day, my wife and I were in the store and we were acting up because nobody knew it was me. We were out in the mall, and it was great because you could just be yourself and nobody knows it's you. But to answer your question that we started off with, I broke the word knowledge down. And knowledge is an action word, because knowledge is synonymous with wisdom. You have to go through the knowledge in order to be wise or to have wisdom. And knowledge, K-N-O-W, you must know. But you still, once you know, you still have to jump off the ledge, the L-E-D-G-E of the knowledge. So once you know, you have to put into action what you know. So when you know, taking action is synonymous with jumping off the ledge.
It's taking a risk.
Right.
It's taking a risk.
Right.
So knowledge doesn't mean what the average person thinks it means, right? We have knowledge that a light is illuminated by the switch, but you must activate the switch in order for the light to come on.
That's right.
So that's knowledge in action. So knowledge is only potential power. You have to use the knowledge in order for it to become powerful or full of power. You've got to use the knowledge. And so
positive too.
That's right. So using the knowledge ultimately becomes wisdom.
Never thought about the word knowledge like that.
Yeah, you've got to use the knowledge in order for it to be powerful. Like, you
Right.
know, there are things that have been said about people of color for many years. They said you want to hide something, put it in a book, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, because the knowledge is in the book, but you got to open up the book in order for it to become powerful. And so that's what they mean. If you want to hide something, hide it in a book. So I tell people to read as much as they possibly can, because all the knowledge is in the books.
You talking about reading? Tell us about their book, because I want to go get their book.
Life's Teachable Moments. And that's really what it is. If you pay attention to life, there are many teachable moments. It's about being aware in life. I just recently watched a interview that Jamie Foxx did, and I thought that was incredibly profound. And they were talking about success. And he says, you know, sometimes it can be very lonely. And they said, why? He said, because most of the time when people are successful, not everybody, but there are a number of people who think success, they get there by themselves. You never get there by yourself.
No, exactly.
And the people who do are very, very lonely. That's where it comes from when they say it's lonely at the top, because you weren't wise enough to take people with you when you got there.
Right. That's how it should be. Bring people with you. You can't do it by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You won't be so lonely.
And you have to be knowledgeable enough to take the right people with you, because if you take the wrong people,
you can't take anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
To go.
Can't take those distractions with you.
That's right.
You gotta get the bad seeds out of the way.
Right.
That's right. And so you have to be knowledgeable enough to know who those particular people are. So it all takes work, and it always takes a level of failure, which isn't really failure unless you stop to learn the lessons of life. If you live life, you're always going to have lessons, and be thankful for those lessons, because those lessons are what help you to grow.
And that's absolutely true. All facts. So how did you get into acting? And what was your first role? When you first started, what was the first role? How did you get into it?
Well, to be very honest, my very first role for acting was actually on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
When I was 20, I was 21 or 22 years old, and I was blessed enough and lucky enough to have a relationship with a guy named Adolfo Quinones, who the rest of the world knows as Shabba-Doo from the movie Breakin'. He was involved with a play that came out of the Mark Taper Forum in LA. This is while I was still living in New York as a young adult. And I developed a relationship with him, and he became like a mentor to me. And he knew the director, who was Ron Link at that time. Rest in peace, Ron Link, who was the director of the show Stand-Up Tragedy. And it was coming to Broadway. And so he just thought that I fit the description of the person that can play this character. I spoke fluent Spanish because it was about a Dominican kid who grew up on the east side of New York. And so he told the director about me, and it was coming to Broadway. And so they auditioned me. And at 21 years old, I got the role playing Carlos Cruz in Stand-Up Tragedy.
Stand-Up Tragedy. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was my very first role as an actor. But truth be told, I really loved dance. So after the play closed on Broadway, I just continued focusing on my dance career. So throughout that time, I was dancing and choreographing. And in 1999, I decided to start focusing on acting. And then I auditioned in March of 2000, for the role of Lem Van Adams on Soul Food. And I got the role.
Okay.
So that's what the world got to know me as an actor in 2000 on Soul Food. And synonymously, that same year, I had choreographed Bye 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 and won the MTV Music Award in September for Bye Bye Bye.
Yes.
Okay. So who taught you Spanish?
Actually, growing up in New York, either you learned it or you didn't. And I taught myself Spanish because I grew up with Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Ecuadorians, Mexicans. And one of the first things that I learned was a word called sube. And sube means get upstairs. I grew up with
I'm
a
gonna try
guy.
that.
I grew up with a guy named Thomas Aponte, and they were Cuban, so they would teach me Spanish. His mother's name was Josefina, and she's 80-something years old right now, approaching 90, and she taught me Spanish. So I learned, you know, growing up, like brown skin in New York, you will call Moreno or Morenito. Morenito means the, you know, little brown one, or Moreno means the brown one. So I would always say, yo soy moreno, pero yo hablo español, tú sabes.
Oh, you got
it means,
going on.
it means I might be black, but I speak Spanish. You understand?
Ten cuidado. You speaking good too.
Yeah. So I grew up learning Spanish, so I literally used it throughout my life. And it afforded me the opportunity to create friends, to travel to Latin countries. The more you know, it becomes, the more knowledge you have, the less money you need.
Right.
Okay.
The more knowledge you have, the less money you need, because your knowledge affords you, it's a currency that is like money. Friendships and relationships are better than money.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. That's true.
A lot of money can be a headache sometimes, can't
it? More money, more problems.
That's
you know,
exactly.
but
I never knew what Biggie. I never
Yeah.
knew what Biggie said meant when he said that song.
Yeah.
Now, I'm like, okay, I get it.
I want some problems. I want a little bit of problems. I want that money. I want a little teeny bit.
To whom much is given, much is also required. So, you know, it's a great polarity. You know, people think they don't have problems if they have money.
Right.
That couldn't be furthest from the truth. You know, it's a greater responsibility to have anything in life. You have a bigger house. You got more expensive car.
Expensive to take care of it.
You know what I mean? It costs more to take care of it. You know what I mean?
And then if something go wrong, when people see you have a bigger house, they're gonna charge you larger money versus if you have a smaller house, they're gonna charge you smaller.
Right. So
like, you have a big house, you can afford to pay this.
Yeah. So what I say is, it's very simple. To whom much is given, much is required. If you are blessed enough to have or to work or to earn X amount of dollars, to have a certain size house, a certain size car, then hopefully you have the knowledge and the wisdom that it goes along with maintaining those things that you have, because a fool and their money shall soon part.
Darren, you speak so well. You like a little preacher too, / motivation speaker. Like you speak, I understand everything you're saying. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
Tying it all in with some knowledge. So he's giving you an answer, but he's giving you a little knowledge with it.
Well, one of the things that I say, and you know, I don't hide from who I am, my age, and I give thanks for the time that I'm having on this earth. And again, you know, with age should come wisdom. And so a lot of what you hear, and I give thanks to the Most High daily, a lot of what you hear is trial and error. Also the ability to create great relationships, have great mentors, have great teachers. And so if each one teach one, we can reach one.
That's right.
You know, I know that it's important. You know, I've reinvented myself over and over again. People knew me as a dancer. Then I turned into a choreographer. That's reinvention. And then I turned into an actor. From an actor, I started producing. From producing, I started directing. Now I'm able to do all of those things. And so for me, it's about living your own personal truth. If you read a book called The Alchemist, which you hear Will Smith talking about, he talks about personal legends. And it's really about what he's talking about in the book. What I talk about in my books, after I was able to learn from these other teachers, was really, you have to live your truth. A lot of times, if you ask yourself, the words that I'm speaking, are they mine? Are they something that I learned from somebody else? And we really are a collection of what we pay attention to.
That's right.
When you hear people say you are what you eat, It's because you are the energy that you absorb mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I try to detox from that which does not really represent me or which isn't the healthiest for me mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Right.
So in my book, Life's Teachable Moments, or in my book, Intimate Thoughts and the Spirit of Change, it's really about knowing that there's so many things in life that can teach you if you just pay attention and listen. And that's why I say Life's Teachable Moments or Intimate Thoughts and the Spirit of Change, because we all must change. You know, we can't stay the same. We can't last. We won't be able to function if we stay the same. We've got to change. We've got to grow.
You have to grow, especially as you get older. Each day is a lesson. So if you're going each day and you're not growing and learning, then you're really just wasting time and taking up space pretty much. Because that's the purpose of life. Each day you learn something. You might pass, you might fail, but that failure is not really a failure. It's really a lesson for you to go back and correct what you did wrong.
That's right.
Along with our thoughts too.
So you mentioned all your titles from, but you didn't mention author. You didn't mention that you were author. You stopped at director.
Well, yeah, I published 4 books, Intimate Thoughts and the Spirit of Change, Ain't That the Truth? Acknowledge, admit, and invite truth into your life. Pregnant with Thought, I think.
Oh, yes, I want that.
And then Life's Teachable Moments. I think, therefore I am. So I had a lot on my mind because people would ask me a lot of questions, and I knew I couldn't answer everybody's question, or I didn't have time. So I decided to put my life's lessons in a book, and all of the things that I'm learning and all the great people that I'm meeting. I figured people can meet great people through me because of all the people that I get to meet. So I figured I would put that knowledge and wisdom in a book. And it's the same thing like the t-shirt line, which I have to commend you guys on, or you ladies on rather.
I was about to ask you about the t-shirt line.
Because a lot of people ask me to do interviews. And after you touch base and I was told, that you wanted to interview me, and of course I said yes. The first thing that I found out that you guys did was you went and actually ordered t-shirts. And so you supported the line. And that was so beautiful because I just thought, I was like, wow, the law says when you want something, you give it first. You want love, give love. You want kindness, you give kindness. And I thought, wow, you wanted to interview me and you supported a positive brand, which is called God's Billboard T-shirts.
And I was about to ask you about your brand, the name.
Yeah, it's about it's God's Billboard T-shirts on Instagram, and it's about being a billboard for God. But I just commend you because you supported by taking action and ordering the t-shirt. And I just thought, wow, how beautiful that is, because it was like you showed support, and so you gave, and therefore you receive. And if people really understand that givers get more, they would not hesitate to give. Givers get more. So if we learn, if we learn not to be selfish, it's important to be selfish, but at the right times. When you got to build yourself up in order to have enough that you need so you can give, givers get more. It's good to be selfish, because selfish means I need to take time for myself. I need to be in prayer. I need to be in meditation. I need to get myself right. But why do we get ourselves right? We get ourselves right so we can be more of a blessing
to others. That's right.
That's true. And it feels good too when you're a blessing to others. It feels good. It makes you feel real warm and cozy on the inside, like you're doing something. But that's what we try to do. You're eating. Oh, share with us.
You gotta eat, Darrins. Say hi.
Share. What are you eating?
That is, it's a oatmeal. It's a organic oatmeal protein mixed with oat milk.
Oh, wow.
So, you know,
Tasty?
I trained real hard this morning. So throughout the day, I
Okay.
have, you know, intervals of taking in, you know, oats, oat milk, or pineapples,
You get your hands
pomegranates.
everything
Yeah,
down.
so how do you
Yeah.
manage all this? How do you manage all your job titles and then home?
Some me time.
Right, then home. Like, what are some things that you do on your own outside of work? When you just have me time, what are some things you do? What is the life?
Honestly,
What's the life of them?
I promise you, honestly, I think things are in order. You'll always say, I give thanks to the Most High. It's important to pray and meditate in the morning. Before you turn on your phone, before you go out in the world, before you turn on CNN, hear the bad news of the alphabet crew, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS.
Yes.
Before you get all the bad news, because that's really what it is. It's negative bad news.
It is.
You know, it drains people. Instead of them talking about how many cats were saved out of trees, or how many dogs were rescued, or how many people were blessed today by somebody being a caregiver, a caretaker, you hear negative, negative, negative. I sit down, I meditate, and I pray. I read my books in the morning and throughout the day. I figure out how I can be of service to somebody in my family and then somebody outside of my door. I exercise, you know what I mean? I get my cardio in, I get my strength training in, I box, I do the things that I need to do for Darrin, and all of those things I think afford me the opportunity to do what I love in the workforce. So, and then like anything else, it's a well-oiled machine. You got to make your team, make sure your team is doing what they're doing. You know, are the agents doing what they're doing? Are the managers doing what they're supposed to be doing? Are the people who work for you doing what they're doing? Like, you know, did you send out the T-shirts today? Did you send out the emails today? Did you text the people back that I couldn't text back? You know, did you answer the emails that you know people are looking to do interviews on, or people who are looking to send me scripts? Did you sift through the scripts that are being sent out to me before they get to me? Because I don't have time to read. You know, everybody thinks their movie and TV show is the greatest movie and TV show in the world. You know, so I don't have time to go through 150, 160 pages of everybody's scripts. And so
because it's a blessing that he actually, you seen our request to actually be interviewed, because I'm sure you get a lot of them.
Well, your presentation was key. The way you presented yourself in your show was key, and I love that. Presentation is everything. Sometimes we only have one opportunity to introduce ourselves, and the way that you presented yourself, I said absolutely.
And I was like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm sure Darrin has so many people, and he allowed, you gave us an opportunity, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, it was your presentation was key, and I think that's so important that we assist each other. You know, a lot of times people don't ask, so they don't receive. Like, you know, unless you ask for the interview, you know, people be like, well, he won't do an interview with me. Why? Well, he seems mean, and I'm like, he seems mean, and I'm like, what do you didn't ask? Well, I saw your movie Stomp the Yard, and you just seem like, I'm like, wow. I'm like, that was a character I played. I'm like, but if you look at Black Coffee, I played a character that's completely opposite of that. You know, the character in Black Coffee, you know, was this really sensitive, honest, hardworking guy, Robert. And shout out to everybody, Tridestined Films. Shout out to the writer, the director of Black Coffee, Mark Harris, because that movie's incredible. And, you know, I know that he's diligently working on making sure Black Coffee 2 gets seen very, very soon.
Okay, so are you going to be in Black Coffee too?
Oh, absolutely. I'm reprising the role. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gabrielle Dennis, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, Christian Keys, everybody that was in the film.
So what movies have you directed? or produce the
Oh,
spark?
definitely. Oh, how could I forget this? Right now, you can check out my channel on the XOD network. Download the app, the XOD app,
And so these
XOD,
say it slow so everyone can.
XOD, XOD. So download that app. You can see the Darrin Henson channel. We went live on November 18th.
Okay.
You can see a movie I directed called The Hotel, which is a really great dramedy. And you'll see some very familiar faces. Vanessa Williams from Soul Food is in that as well.
Oh,
Shabba-Doo,
yeah.
Boogaloo Shrimp is in that. Amber Galka is in that. Also, I directed a film, which was a movie, which was a film about the war, about the Gulf War, starring Malik Yoba and Cinda Williams, which is called Violation. And I make a cameo in that film. I directed both of those films and produced them as well.
All right, listen, Darrin, listen. If you need an actor, Miss Go Get Her, whatever part you give her, she can do it.
I got you. We're going to put you on the audition block. Not the couch, the block.
Put her up there. Put her up there. Whatever you give her, baby, she can do it.
And you can see, you could, you know, there's a lot of people that's writing in, sending their resumes right now, because we're going to be introducing a lot of movies. Next up on the XOD is a movie that I produced and I star in called Products of the American Ghetto. That was executive.
I want to be in the ghetto. I want to be in there. I can do that too.
Yeah. Products of the American Ghetto, which will be premiering next week on my channel on the XOD network. And then we have the first documentary by Tony Minaj from So Disrespectful Music. She works with Lisa. I mean, so many people. I think you guys are going to be thrilled when you see her. She's going to be the first documentary that we're releasing on the channel. Tony Minaj. I think you guys would be real interested in how she got the name Minaj too. And a lot of people would be surprised about that. But she's the first documentary on the Darrin Henson channel.
Darrin Henson
Oh,
channel.
you doing big things. You like Oprah got on. Who said Darrin can't have his own channel?
Right.
You understand?
Look,
I learned from the best. So I'm just doing what they did. I'm doing what Oprah did, what Tyler did, what Ice Cube did, what Cube Vision, what Will Smith did, you know, with Overbrook. I'm following in their footsteps. And you know, you gotta crawl before you walk. And you gotta walk before you run. So I'm just taking the steps.
So do it seem like when the pandemic hit, a lot of this stuff went to virtual and doing all these apps and stuff? I think that's where I think that's where it started growing, when people had to do a lot of things at home and on apps. All these apps being
Well, I think, you know, I think it presented those people who really wanted to be their own bosses with a great situation, because either you sat down and you complained and you were in a state of woe is me, or you said, you know what, I'm a creative person, I'm going to do something about this. So for me, it was an opportunity for me to get busy. I mean, I'm blessed to have 2 pre-existing TV shows, The Family Business and Double Cross. So The Family Business second season is on BET Plus. And Double Cross is on UMC. And the second season is going to be coming out in December of Double Cross. Shout out to my Double Cross family, and shout out to my Family Business family. And so I'm blessed to be on 2 hit TV shows, and I don't take that lightly. And I'm going for a third. You know what I'm saying? So
it seems like we've actually been in this podcast for a little over 7 months now, and it actually started right in the middle of the pandemic, and we have interviewed a lot of good people, including yourself.
I appreciate that. And to me, again, either we're sitting down and complaining and waiting for somebody to do something for us, or we're taking what God gave us. Amen. We're taking what God gave us, our minds, our focus, our thoughts, our creativity, our ability, to do something about it and create revenue streams for ourselves. Don't ask somebody else to do for you what you could do for yourself.
That's
Sure
right.
can.
There's so much inside of us. If people would just take the time to get to know who they are and whose they are. If you're a child of God, act like it.
That's right.
Exactly.
If you're a child of God, think like it. If you're a child of God, move like it. If you're a child of God, walk like it, talk like it.
Right.
So God says he didn't give us a fear. I mean, he didn't give us a spirit of fear. So where did fear come from?
That's a
If it didn't,
distraction.
if it didn't come from God. So you got to be the opposite of fear. You got to be a doer. You got to be a doer. You got to be a believer. You got to be a faither. You got to be a goaler. You got to be a hoper.
Okay.
Right?
That's right.
So fear, look, fear, false evidence that appears real. Or,
Right. Let me write that
or,
down, too.
That is-
Yes. Fear.
or
we
forget
getting a lesson
others
today.
creating unnecessary stress. Forget others creating unnecessary stress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, we're getting a lesson. We're getting a lesson today, breaking it down. Yeah.
Jotting it down.
So that to me is focus. Forget others creating unnecessary stress.
Woo!
That's
Yes.
right.
That's focus.
Yes.
Fear, false evidence that appears real.
I'm gonna
Most
hashtag that.
Most people are fearful of things that never happened to them,
And that's true.
and they create it within their own lives.
And sometimes it can be our own enemy when we let these negative thoughts come in our mind. And I'm kind of big on that. I know that our thoughts become real when we start thinking negative.
Our
It's
thoughts
going to
are-
be negative. When you start
Yes.
thinking positive and you speak positive, it's going to be positive. Our thoughts are real because it has that friction in it to where we manifest.
Manifest.
Yeah, manifest the outcome to be negative. When we think negative, but we
Yeah.
think positive, it come out positive.
And I tell people, don't just use these words, but look them up. Like, look up the word manifest. See what it means. So when you use it, you can apply it, right? So when we say thoughts or things, the reason that we say that is because thoughts are energy before they manifest in the physical world. So what you think about becomes about. So if you think positive, then positive things will flow into your experience. If you think negative, then negative things will flow into your experience.
That's true.
Right.
What did I do to create that? What did I do to cause that? And once you start taking responsibility, meaning respond to your ability, responsibility, responding to your ability, then you will start to see how much power you actually have been given to other people instead of using it for yourself.
Right. So let me help me break. Can you help me with something? Your book. You said you have a book called "Pregnant with Thoughts."
Yes.
So that's kind of go with what we talking about. So is this true? You know, when I'm about to have this blessing, I'm about to, because I had said it yesterday at work. I said I'm pregnant with a big blessing. I said I'm pregnant, and I think the coworker just heard pregnant, and they looked at me like I'm pregnant. I said no, I'm pregnant with a big blessing. My feet swole, my water about to break because a blessing ready to come. Why is it that the distractions come? Is it to see how strong-minded we are?
Because you have to understand that the earth that we live on and everything that we deal with is subject and under laws. And the law of polarity is in everything, meaning there's an opposite in everything that was created. You have the day, you have the night, you have the light, you have the heavy, you have water, you have land, you have sky, you have earth, you have wind, you have fire. Everything has an opposite. So when you have a blessing coming, there's something opposite of that blessing trying to take it away from you. And the problem is, most people are not aware of that. They just think, oh, let me focus on the good. You better not just focus on the good. You better know that there's opposite of the good. So what I'm simply saying to most people is, when you are aware and you acknowledge the laws of polarity, then you prepare. When something blessing is happening and you know, then just be prepared for something to try you and to try your faith and to try your belief. So don't ever just expect the good without knowing that you're going to be tried.
And you are. You're going to have a whole lot of trials, especially when your blessing is about to hit, and your blessing, the larger your blessing, the larger that
bigger
trial and
this is what is specifically meant. And if I may, I didn't mean to cut you off, sister, but this is what's meant when they said that there is no testimony without a test.
That's right. That's right.
Normally you're giving a testimony because you've overcome. That's the difference between understanding and overstanding. When you understand something, it means you're beneath it. It means you're under trial. When you overstand something, it means you can see. It's like a map. When we look at a map, we are overstanding. We can see the larger territory. But when you're driving your car, you can only see what's in front of you.
What's on the side, but you can't see the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
Very, 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 very informative. Like, I mean, really, I'm taking all this in. I need you to read that because I had a distraction come to me. It hit me hard, but I think I won because I knew it was a distraction and I noticed it was a distraction.
And that's the manifestation of you being aware. See, you understand, then you can overstand, but then when you understand, you can really prepare yourself.
Okay.
Understanding is you not questioning the opposite because you know it exists.
Okay.
You preaching.
Yes,
right
I told
now.
you like a little preacher too, Mr. Darrin.
You preaching right now.
I give thanks to the Most High. I'm just aware. I'm just aware that when the sun goes down, the night comes, and I'm aware that when the night comes, that means the sun is coming back up. Winter doesn't last forever. Hard times don't last forever. You know, they only last when that's what you focused on. So keep being hopeful, keep being faithful, and while you're being hopeful and faithful, make sure you take action. So you can actually use the knowledge that you have, because knowledge doesn't mean anything unless you use it.
That's right.
And you're absolutely right.
That's right.
Plant your seeds. But don't expect to eat from what you planted the next day. Know that there's a period of time for the harvest to come. But you must plant them in order to eat from the harvest. But don't expect to eat when you didn't plant.
Well, you sure fed my soul tonight. You fed my soul, but I need you to tell everyone about your t-shirts or how they can go about ordering your t-shirts so they too can be a billboard for God. Yes. The website is called God's Billboard T-shirts.com. God's with an S, Billboard T-shirts.com. And literally we ship every day. And the t-shirts are so powerful and empowering. I mean, the words on the t-shirts speak for themselves. It says, one of the t-shirts says, I am more than enough, and I approve this message.
I want that. Yes.
And we have mediums, large, extra large, double X, and triple X.
Okay.
And are they unisex?
Yes, because the plus size people were complaining and saying, how come you don't make them for us? We're believers too. And I said, I got y'all. And now we got triple X's. Another one says I'm a spiritual warrior. I fight my battles through prayer.
I want that one too.
The other t-shirt says, I'm validated by the Most High. I don't need your approval.
Right. And do they come in different colors?
It comes in black and white.
Gotcha. Okay.
White shirt, black letters, black shirt, white letters. And, you know, we're telling everybody, and this is true, be a billboard for God and bless yourself with positivity. Bless your family members and friends so they can see you being a billboard for God, and then themselves can be a billboard for God. Because if each one teach one, we can reach one.
That's right.
That's right.
Because there's so many negative things on shirts that people are reading every day, But let's
It's true.
spread love. Let's spread positivity. Let's spread
It
good
feels so much
things.
better when we're doing that. Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
we
how people, it feels better when you spreading
Yes.
love and being positive and smiling.
Yes.
Chaos and confusion is just a bad thing. I don't,
But when you spread love and you being positive, that's when you're really gonna have the negativity come at you.
That's a distraction.
And that's when you take a deep breath and know that God is using you for greater works. Because if you're not attacked, something's wrong. Because the devil does not come to steal and rob an empty bank. It only goes where there's money in the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
A robber does not come to rob an empty bank. So if somebody comes to attack you, it must mean you're doing something right.
That's right.
That's right.
So Darrin, we're gonna have you look, went over, I landed with you. I know you're a busy man. We're gonna wrap it up, and we appreciate you letting us interview you, just chopping it up, talking with you, because we needed that. Yeah. You've been giving us some good advice tonight, but on a personal note for our podcast, what advice could you leave us with as far as going forth with the podcast?
Ask more of yourself than anybody could ever ask of you. That way you'll always be prepared. Prepare yourself with the right questions. Prepare yourself with the right attitude. Meditate and pray before every interview, and give thanks to the Most High after every interview, because it was allowed.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we enjoyed you.
We really enjoyed you. I really needed that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about ready to go shout now.
Yes.
I appreciate you all, and I give thanks to the Most High for you and your positivity that you're spreading. And so I just pray that you continue getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger artists and stronger artists that will help spread the word for you. I appreciate you. I'm thankful to you and for you for this time. I do not take this for granted.
Thank you
so much. And
thank you to everybody.
Day. Happy Turkey Day.
Happy every day. And as I said, and I want to leave this with you. Be happy every day. Don't wait for anybody to ever tell you what the day of thanks should be. Every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Father's Day. Yes. Every day is a day to love, and Valentine's Day. Every day is a day to celebrate life. Yes. Every single day.
It's happy day.
Yes.
Yes.
Have a great life. I love you guys.
All right. Thank you. We love you. And congratulations on all you have going on.
Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
Success to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.